Hi everyone, and welcome to Fall in Love with AI Agents. I'm Emma McQuaid, co-founder of ThinkCloud and entrepreneur residence at Hull University's Business School. And for the past few years, I've been deep in the real world of AI deployment. Not just the hype, not just the headlines, the real messy, experimental, break it and build it phase. ChatGPT publicly launched on the 30th of November 2022. Most of the world only discovered it in December. By early 2023, I was already teaching and lecturing inside the executive education environments. And not just prompting it, stress testing it, breaking workflows, rebuilding processes around it, and asking a much bigger question. What happens when this stops chatting and starts acting? Only last week, a delegate asked me something that genuinely made me stop. How many people have you trained in AI just in the past year? I hadn't counted, so I did. So through Hull University's Business School, there were 6 AI basic cohorts of 2 days, 5 AI for leader cohorts, around 180 plus delegates. And then through ThinkCloud, we trained over 900 teachers, 45 firefighters at Humberside Fire and Rescue, 80 senior leaders, 200 delegates at Global Business School in the Caribbean, plus our own internal teams. All different sectors, different digital maturity levels, different levels of fear, curiosity, and also excitement. But every single time, the same pattern. People walk in saying, I don't really get AI, and then they walk out saying, why didn't someone show me this sooner? So that shift from uncertainty to capability is the bit that matters. Because today, here's the truth. Most organisations are still treating AI like a tool, but AI agents are not tools, they're infrastructure. So let me take you back to 2023. While most businesses were still experimenting with prompts, Scott and I was building our early agents inside OpenAI Playground, or I was. Not pretty, not polished, just raw model access. OpenAI's Playground has been around since ChatGPT 3, but that's where serious builders went and played. I remember sending Scott our first working agent. It barely held together, but it proved something. The model wanted the strategy. And what Scott challenged me was the orchestration layer was. Because the moment AI moves from generating text to accessing systems to triggering actions to operating across data, everything changes. And this is where the platform conversation becomes real. So let's take ChatGPT that everyone knows. It runs on Microsoft's Azure infrastructure. Microsoft is one of OpenAI's largest strategic partners, and Microsoft has embedded those models deeply across its own ecosystem, from Copilot to Azure to OpenAI service. So when people ask which AI is better, that's completely the wrong question. The better question is, where does my data live and how safely can AI interact with it? Because today I'm going to show you AI agents don't live in isolation. They live inside your email, your calendar, your documents, your HR processes, your finance systems, your customer records, your supplier relationship. And once AI starts touching those layers, your platform becomes your AI strategy, whether you designed it that way or not. Now, let me be clear. This isn't a Microsoft sales. This isn't a Google takedown. This is about strategic thinking. So I see some of my clients are on here on Microsoft 365. Some are on Google Workspace. Some are hybrid. The real shift isn't tool preference. It's mindset. Are you experimenting or are you architecting? Or are you just simply chatting with AI? Or are you designing how it operates inside your organization? Because over the last 2 years, what we've seen is this. The gap between organisations leaning in strategically and those dabbling tactically is widening fast. Today isn't about cool demos, it's about clarity. By the end of this session, you'll understand what AI agents actually are, how they work inside Copilot and Copilot Studio, how autonomy really works, and how to think about this through a data and AI strategy lens, not just a hype lens. My goal is not to convince you, it's to elevate how you think about AI. Because when AI is done right, it doesn't replace people. It removes friction, it creates space for better thinking, better decisions, better leadership, better outcomes. So let's dive in over the next sort of 25 minutes. Let's be strategic, but let's be future facing. And by the end of this webinar, you might just fall in love with what AI agents can unlock next. So we've put together a roadmap for organisations navigating the agentic inflection point. And this will really help you to go to reflect upon what you're going to learn in this webinar. 4 fundamental shifts. And the first shift is the mindset shift from human scale work to agentic scale work. And what does that actually mean? So from overload to intelligence power, from human scale operations reaching their limits, 30% of IT budgets lost to integration, enterprise reporting over 900 apps per enterprise, and 2.5 hours per day lost for searching for information. Agentic systems shift work from fragmentation to orchestration. Execution is no longer the bottleneck. So agentic AI and the types of agents that we're going to be discussing today in Copilot. So we've got simple chat retrieval systems, and these can provide humans with an interface to the data you need to see to make decisions. And then we can use done-for-you agents or even build our own agents that manage tasks. And ultimately, they can manage and complete defined tasks and acting on behalf of the user. So also we'll touch on Copilot Studio, where we can build out more complex and extend these agents so they're autonomous, making decisions, executing complex workflows, and adapting over time. But let's look at human intelligence at its core. So there'll be people on the call who will have a degree and they'll reference, and ultimately they know where to look when they're structuring an argument or having a debate or doing some research within their area of expertise. But software's come along with machine learning, and all of a sudden, thanks to Alan Turing, we now have apparent intelligence. But I would argue right now we've got access to super intelligence, augmented intelligence. We're already augmented, I would argue, with our digital devices, but more so now with AI agents. And this brings us to the idea economy, where we can ideate and execute and collapse workflows like never before. And understanding agents, the rise of autonomous collaboration, is the second point. So what is an agent? And let's understand the 4 levels of agentic progression. First is chatbots. Then we have assistants. Then we have digital labour. And then digital workforce. Scary, I know, but we're already onboarding and managing and working with a digital workforce. And then third, exponential technology intelligence at the core. And this is what Copilot provides. So exponential technology is compounding the S-curve. And what I mean by that is models, and if you're not familiar with the term models, AI tools run on what we call models. Think of them like an engine, and different engines have different capabilities in terms of how they can get you from A to B. And then we have compute, what is powering these models, and ultimately the data also driving these models as well. And it's expected over 1 million-fold leap in capability over the next 4 years. So just stop and think about that, which is just incredible. But model intelligence is compounded, smarter, faster, and multimodal. And what this means is when growth goes vertical, we get smarter models, faster chips, and infinite scale. And that's what we're seeing now like never before. AI goes mainstream, so 2016 to present. So I recommend, go on YouTube. There's an amazing AlphaGo moment by Google's DeepMind. And AlphaGo defeated world champion Lee Sedol at Go, a game with more possible positions than atoms in the universe, demonstrating AI's advanced reasoning capabilities. 2018 to 2020 saw workplace integration, AI-powered tools being transforming business software, automating routine tasks, and enhancing productivities across industries. 2022, we saw ChatGPT launched. OpenAI's ChatGPT bringing conversational AI to millions, making sophisticated AI accessible to the general public for work, education, and creative pursuits. And then 2023 to 2024, business transformation. Microsoft integrating Copilot across its product as AI adoption in business has reached unprecedented levels, with 79% of companies using AI in at least one business area. So let's have a look at models. So I teach this on the AI basics, and I also bring this slide up on the AI for leaders and the advanced as well. But I think it's so important to I show clients this as well. So these are notable AI models. And when we look at this, there's over 486 models available. You'll see some familiar names there like GPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok. And I don't think people realise the amount of scale and breadth of different AI models that are actually available right now. And I want to stress, Copilot is not an AI model. It uses various different models. It's now got access to Claude, Anthropic's models. Grok's just come to it as well. And it's also got access to the best from OpenAI as well. So let's have a little look at OpenAI's ChatGPT versus Microsoft 365. So let's just go technical for a second. So a large language model, like I just mentioned, is like an engine. So it's trained on an amount of data from a point in time. Then you can put a prompt into ChatGPT. It'll then give you a response. And it also has the ability to do a Google search as well and put them results into it. So it can be perceived to be smarter than what it is. Let's go look at Copilot. So we have a service boundary. And what we're able to do is bring in that large language model. We can bring other models in too as well. And we have a hidden layer. And what that means is we can control and manipulate the large language model within our tenant in our environment. So then you can put a prompt into Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, which is which we'll show you soon. And then that can go search a large language model, just like ChatGPT. But in this side, what we can do is it has access to an API. And I know it sounds technical, but an API is like a cog and a pulley. What happened in the Industrial Revolution, connecting machines together, this is now connecting AI and data systems and computer systems together. So what we can do is we can then go into Microsoft's graph where the AI system can access people, email, chat, meetings, documents, and tasks. On top of that, we can have third-party plugins to extend these AI capabilities with Microsoft's Copilot Studio, and we can plug in all different third-party data systems and apps with different connectors. So let's understanding AI tools in modern business. So what are AI tools? Core examples, large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. And what I'm going to show you is a coding assistant, which is Microsoft Copilot. You also have image generation models like DALL-E and Midjourney and decision support systems. And I'm going to be giving you an insight into what this actually looks like. Because with the Copilot, we're able to harness the great transformation. So phase 1, human augmentation, like I mentioned. Phase 2, capacity explosion. Phase 3, the idea economy. And what you're about to see is the revolution. So before we jump in, Ethan Mollick, if you're not following on LinkedIn, go follow him, he's amazing. But I use this slide, it's one of my most used slides across all my programs I deliver. It says all the technical language around AI obscures the fact that there are two paths to being good with AI. Deeply understanding large language models or deeply understanding how you give people instructions and information they can act on. Large language models aren't people, but they operate enough like it to work. Many of the best prompters is met who are creating useful, actual products in organisations are not technical. In fact, coders often struggle with non-deterministic systems in a way that teachers and managers do not. I love this slide because when I run promptathons, honestly, this is so true. Some people might want to understand the technology behind it, but I imagine the majority of people on this webinar will be in camp too. So let's jump in and let's see how we can give instructions to different AI agents. So let's have a look at agent. So this is a core prompt coach. So core stands for content, outcome, reason, and expectation. This is a framework that I've created. I've developed it through hands-on work with thousands of professionals across all the AI accelerator and executive education programs, also corporate programs I've been running since 2023. And the core framework transforms vague prompts into structured prompt engineering level instructions and been tested on all models. So let's have a look. Let's give you a good example. So if I want to explain the core prompts framework to someone, I've preset this so our clients will get access to this, and it will guide you through what the core prompts framework is. It helps you define the inputs you want AI to use, and this might include background information, links, examples, or reference materials and detail about your audience. Also, constraints or must include points. So think of this as everything you need to know before you start. Then you start thinking is for outcome. So describe the output you want the AI to produce. Is it a summary report, a plan, an email, a comparison, a script? So this tells exactly the AI what to create so it doesn't guess. Then R stands for reason. Explain why you need this output and who is it for. This helps Copilot tailor the relevant depth and tone. Examples, I need this for an investor meeting. This will help our marketing team plan campaigns. And this is from onboarding new starters. So ultimately thinking like purpose, better, more context-aware results. And then E stands for expectation. So set the style, tone, and format and length. Examples, write a concise, professional tone, format in bullet points, keep it under 500 words, use UK English, and structure it like a proposal. And this is where you shape how the final output feels. So why does this core framework work? It removes guesswork really and gives Copilot the clarity it needs to perform at its best. So I will give you an example. So let's just jump up here and let me do a new chat. So I'm still in this agent. And let me give you this example in a demo. So job description for an ice cream parlour manager. And this is quite funny because on the AI Basics, we build one of these agents in ChatGPT and it doesn't always work. It's quite funny. But it's good because AI doesn't always do as it's told and it's a real good learning curve when it does go wrong. But let me give you an example on here with an agent that's been pre-built. So it's been trained to take any input you give it and improve the prompt. So let's have a look. So if we send that through. So we send that through and straight away we can see it's created a much richer prompt. It's got the content, it's got the outcome, it's got the reason, the expectation. And also we've programmed our agent so it can give a little call to action down here as well. So let's test this now. So if we was to write an ice cream parlour description, let's go test this. Let's show this in two different ways. So I'm just going to use normal Copilot Chat. I've not improved the prompt, and let's just send through a normal prompt. So you go, it's sent that through, and it's written a job description. Okay, but let's go compare and contrast the difference if we go back and use that core prompt framework. So I've jumped back and I'm taking this core prompt framework and I'm going to just jump down. I'm just going to copy this. So I'm going to paste in my larger prompt. Let's see what it does. So now we can see we've got a much richer job description with the role. It's also mentioning the point of sale system was on there. It's also a key focus. It's also mentioned food and safety hygienes, people management, also typical ages. So it's got more specific point of sale system implementation and continuous improvement again. So we can see just by using the core prompt coach, we've got a much richer and better prompt there as well. So right now, as you can see, I can do a new chat, I can talk on the web, or I can make it go search from my workplace content. But in this example, a prompt, so providing a detailed UK comparison of Starbucks versus Costa Coffee, focus on pricing, loyalty programs, store formats, customer complaints, brand positioning gaps that Costa Coffee can exploit as a premium modern challenger brand in the market. And in this example, I could use researcher, which I've done for you tool, analyst, and again, I've got different agents I can use. Some of these are frontier agents because I'm on an advanced release. But let's just use the basic chat. We also can use auto, quick response, think deeper. So we have the ability to change the models here. So in this example, I'm just going to send that through. And then this is reasoned in 17 steps. And if you want to see what it's done, you can go see what it's done. Look, different searches it's done. So straight out of the box, it's actually done quite a lot of work. And then it'll provide its output here, look, with the different references it's actually used. So that'd give you an example of, using a chat-based tool. We could then go in to use researcher, and let's have a look at the difference between this and researcher. Now, this has got the ability to allow us research to perform tasks using a virtual computer. We won't get into that at the moment, but let's have a look. Let's use that same prompt and let's use researcher and see what comes up. So this time, researcher is trying to add more context and it's asking me 5 other questions for me to go through and fill out and complete. So in this example, using researcher, what I've done is I've answered the questions. So 1, yes, number 2, general. Number 3, I'm asking it to focus on social media sentiment and review platforms. 4, yes. And number 5, I've actually tagged in Consortia Coffee's brand guidelines that we've built for the demo. This will go away and research. So it'll start showing you its thinking here. It'll start putting together and going and working autonomously in the background for you. So now I've given it more context and the agent went away and worked through all of these different tasks. It's absolutely amazing what analyst and researcher can do. So I'll just quickly go through it. The list is absolutely endless. So these are all the tasks that the researcher's gone away and acted upon. So then let's have a look at the output. So then I'll put together a comprehensive report for you. Give you a summary at the top end. And then you get a full comprehensive report. And I'll scroll all the way to the bottom so you can see it. Different points, I'll put different ways of displaying data with images in there for you as well. And then you can hit here and you can see that it's actually referenced the brand guidelines that I put together. You can go see all of its references and its citations, all of its sources of information. At this point, you have options to read it out loud to yourself. You can edit in pages, so you can come in and edit this, copy this, or in this example, I'm just going to send it through to Word. So researcher has done a fantastic job, like I mentioned, but what also is an advantage in Copilot, we can also use different models. So we can use Claude, we can use GPT models as well, auto. So we have the ability to run research on multiple models as well. So again, that's what makes it different from using maybe say like a Google Workspace in Gemini. You can only use one model. Have a look at another agent. So let's have a look at a brand comparison. An agent that's been built using the agent builder within Microsoft Copilot. So this isn't an advanced agent. This is, I would say, like in the middle, for managing multiple tasks. And this is to compare brands using two frameworks, SOSTAC and TOWS, and it's to turn insight into action and also help you to form persona creation and also competitive positioning. So this is very specific, but let's just use this example and I'll just send this through. So let's use compare Starbucks versus Costa. And the difference on this agent is it will run and check predefined tasks that's been set, and it will structure the report in a way that I've actually set it to do. So as this just comes through, this is putting a brand comparison together, looks at the messaging, the strengths, the weaknesses, and then it'll also put brand B. Now this flow of this report that you are seeing is what I have actually asked it to do. I've also asked it to do a side-by-side comparison. I've also asked it to do a SOSTAC summary across both of them as well. And you'll also see it'll do a TOWS matrix as well. And then key insights, recommendations, and I'll go into the configure tab of it. So we have prompt instructions where we're giving it different instructions. And then on top of that, we can give this access to our SharePoint documents, and we can give it different capabilities and different examples. But the agents from Copilot Studio can also live within your Copilot. So this is the Advanced Marketing Officer. So again, we can run Start Launch here, and off that'll go. So again, these advanced agents can live within your Copilot instance, or you can publish these to Teams and other areas. They can also sit on SharePoint as well. Also giving insight into how these agents are actually built. So I mentioned about standard operating procedures for these agents. Let's go have a look at the Chief Marketing Officer. So look at the prompts that we've put together. They are simply, they have a purpose, they have general guidelines, skills, triggers, and I'll just show you some other examples. This one's the instructions for the marketing analysts, and my recommendation always is how you would give a human instructions is how you give AI instructions. Writing documentation that supports the use of these agents. So this is me jumping into Copilot Studio just so you can see the orchestration layer. So you can see the Chief Marketing Officer starts the task from Start Launch. It then goes and speaks to the marketing analyst. Then it goes to the social media manager. This is your output. This is just looking at it from a system side, all the work that is put together, and you'll just see as it works through the different tasks. You can then see the Chief Marketing Officer, now that he's researched it, comes back into play. And it will go back and forth, working throughout these metrics. You see it then talking to the Chief Marketing Officer again. So again, that just gives you another overview of how these agents can be deployed and used and extended using Copilot Studio. And the main points of extending these agents are giving them access to tools, like I mentioned, or access to other agents. If you look in this example, the Chief Marketing Officer has also got access to 3 other agents as well on top of it. So it's an orchestra of 4 agents, and then we can also give the agent access to tools. So these are from agent flow, prompts, model context protocol, and even computer use. The possibilities on these are absolutely endless. So let's have a look. We could even type in Google. Let's have a look, see what you got with Google. Google Search, Google Sheets, Google Drive. We've also got the ability to integrate Google Analytics. So the possibilities of extending your agents are absolutely huge. And on top of that, we can also come into Copilot Studio and change the models that these AI agents are actually using. And we can also give access to knowledge, not just from a SharePoint or a OneDrive. We can actually do public websites, Salesforce, and advanced. So the possibilities are absolutely huge on extending these AI agents. So if I just jump back in. So while that's been working in the background from Start Launch, you can see what it looks like from a front end. So it's going through to the pricing strategies, the loyalty programs, and you can work through the full output that the agent's done. Brand positioning, strategic gaps, recommended positioning strategy. Then it links into the brand voice guidelines from Concerto's Coffee guidelines we uploaded, 30-day content launch calendar, key messaging, bank, next steps. Final agent I want you to have a look at. We've also got Copilot Coffee support. So this is an agent that was designed for using Copilot Studio, where it's got advanced capabilities. So again, we can ask these questions in about how long will a refund take. Now, this is an advanced agent that's been built in Copilot Studio, and this could sit on a website, but there's a lot of complicated features that this agent's got, which I'd like to show you. So if I jump into this agent for Copilot Coffee, for the agent support. So this is the Copilot Coffee support agent. So this would pretty much live on a website. You could put it in a WhatsApp group, and I'll just show you, look at channels where we could deploy this agent just to get you thinking. So you can have a demo website, Teams and Copilot Chat, you can have it in a web app, WhatsApp, Slack. The possibilities are endless. But let me just go show you this agent, because this agent's actually got access to tools. So, for example, it's got access to email management, so it can send in emails. It can do order cancellations. And when we give it access to different tools, this is where we'd come in and configure. But I also want you to just understand, we can now use natural language in the instructions. So when a user presents an issue with a customer machine, we can then go do a standard operating procedure and link that in with natural language. When a user wants to cancel an order, we've got an order flow here. And again, on this one, we can also give it access to knowledge bases. So these are the machine order SQL databases and tables. So the possibilities are absolutely endless for these agents. And so if I just come back to get an overview, what we discussed today, and we've done a lot in 30 minutes. Copilot Chat, where we can come and chat. We can use different models, quick responses. There's all different responses we can use here. We can give it access to different tools. So we can give it analyst, researcher, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, workflows in Frontier, also designer, and then also choose agents that we've already built. So we can tag other agents in. We can then create, so Copilot Create. That allows us to create branded images, Words, PowerPoints, Excel, videos, and much, much more. And you can set up your company's brand assets. Then I discussed using done-for-you agents such as researcher, analyst, and we also went into more complicated agents with the chief marketing officer using an orchestration layer to also doing our core prompt frameworks. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you're leaving feeling more confident, more curious, and maybe even a little more in love with what AI agents can actually do. But before I go, we've got tons of resources. So if you want to build a data and AI strategy, have an AI policy, have some training, we've got AI basics training online as well. Head over to academy.think-cloud.co.uk. There's tons of resources to get you started today. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.